Welcome to my channel. Let's start today's video. In the Northern Sea there is a fish. Its name is kun. The kun is so large that no one knows how many thousands of miles it spans. It transforms into a bird, which is called Peng. The back of the Peng bird is so vast that no one knows how many thousands of miles it stretches. When it flies in anger, its wings are like clouds hanging from the sky. In his sleep, Su Han's consciousness seemed to be forcibly pulled out, like a drowning person surfacing. At the same time, countless fragmented, blurry yet solemn and majestic Sanskrit chants were being sung in his mind, as if from the primordial era. Damn it, there's no elementary school downstairs in my building. Whose brat is reciting the leisurely journey here? Su Han thought about it in a daze and couldn't help but complain. However, the next second, glug glug. The moment he opened his mouth, the cold, salty seawater suddenly poured into it without warning. Su Han was jolted awake and instinctively tried to cover his mouth and nose with his hands. But something terrifying happened. His hands were gone. Instead, there are two small wings on either side of the body, which resemble both wings and fins. Moreover, Su Han discovered that apart from the initial instinctive reaction of choking on water, he did not feel any suffocation in this deep sea. Where am I? A strong sense of unease welled up inside her, but Su Han quickly forced herself to calm down. He turned his head and looked around. The surrounding environment was extremely dark, like the deep sea in eternal night, with only some strange algae emitting a faint phosphorescence, creating a blurry light and shadow on the seabed. And at the end of his line of sight, Su Han could vaguely see many shadows, so large that he could hardly imagine them, slowly moving around. They were all different in shape and ferocious in appearance, each one like a moving ancient mountain range, exuding a sense of oppressiveness that made people's hearts tremble. But looking at Su Han himself, it then became a small fish fry composed entirely of white, gold, and blue colors. Its size was only about the size of his thumb in his previous life, as insignificant as a speck of dust in this endless, dark, deep sea. Oh my god, I've become a salted fish. Su Han clutched his head, letting out a helpless cry, feeling that everything before him was utterly absurd. But the real feel of the seawater and the coordinated movement of his body told him everything. This is not a dream. Just as Su Han was trying to sort out his thoughts and figure out how he had become a salted fish and ended up in this deep sea, suddenly, a vast and chaotic torrent of memories rushed into his consciousness. After a brief period of dizziness and throbbing pain, Su Han finally understood. He traveled through time. They were transported to a world called Blue Star, but this blue star was not the same as the blue star they knew. This blue planet is countless times larger than in its previous life and is now experiencing a new mythological era of spiritual revival, changes in the world, monsters and humans dancing together, and beast tamers being revered. And he, Su Han, is not an ordinary lazy bum after transmigrating. It is the only Kunpeng larva in the forbidden zone of life, the abyss of the endless North Sea. However, strictly speaking, Su Han is currently only a kun. After all, as a nascent Kunpeng, he was small in size and weak in strength, far from reaching the terrifying size described by Zhuangzi as not knowing how many thousands of miles it is. It also lacks the awe-inspiring power to leave this endless North Sea, transform into a rock, and soar 90,000 miles into the sky. I've become a kun? After processing this fact, Su Han's feelings were extremely complicated. Shock, bewilderment, a strong sense of unreality, and a hint of excitement. After all, in my previous life, the internet was flooded with ads for games featuring kun-like creatures such as Bone Kun, Spirit Kun, Corpse Kun, and Su Kun. Without exception, the core gameplay revolves around devouring, evolving, and becoming stronger. If that's the case, now that I have become the Kunpeng, one of the most powerful beasts in mythology, shouldn't I also possess a top-tier devouring ability that's practically a bug in the system? For a moment, Su Han's eyes were filled with anticipation. After all, no one knows better than Su Han, a transmigrator who has read countless novels, just how incredible the ability to devour is. And it seems to be in response to Su Han's strong will. A semi-transparent personal attribute panel, emitting a faint blue light, suddenly appeared in Su Han's field of vision without warning. Name: Su Han. Race: Kunpeng, juvenile. Rank: Kunpeng, one of the 10 ancient fiends. Demon power: 0.1. Skills: none. Contractor: Yixian. Innate divine ability: devouring heaven and earth. The Kunpeng clan is born with the innate divine ability to devour all things to nourish themselves. Therefore, they can absorb all matter and energy to accelerate their growth, and the growth efficiency is positively correlated with the quality and quantity of spiritual energy contained in the devoured matter and energy. Note: when consuming a target with a special innate talent, there is a chance to plunder or fuse with its innate talent. Wow, it really exists. Su Han was overjoyed and slapped its tail, leaping and cheering in the deep sea, devouring heaven and earth. Just the name itself is imposing. No wonder it is Kunpeng, one of the 10 great fiends of the primordial era. With this ability, as long as I have enough time to devour the countless powerful demonic beasts and rare treasures in this world, how can I not grow into that primordial behemoth with wings strong enough to blot out the sky? The rock rises with the wind, soaring straight up, 90,000 miles. Awesome. A long time. After the initial euphoria, Su Han looked at his personal attribute panel and felt somewhat puzzled. What's going on with this attribute panel? I remember, isn't this something that only comes into being when humans in this world awaken their beast-taming abilities under the influence of the so-called heavenly Tao rules? It is a tool used to check the status and skills of one's own contracted beast. How could I have that? Besides, what the hell is this contractor? Yixian? Su Han's gaze was fixed on the last line of his attribute panel. A contractor? That's strange. When did I sign a contract with someone? Yixian? That name sounds like a woman's, but I've transmigrated to this deep sea, thousands of meters below the surface, and haven't seen a single ghost, let alone a human. Could it be that something happened to him during his time travel, or at the very beginning of the birth of this Kunpeng larva, that he was unaware of? Was he forced to sign a contract? Although the beast-taming contract in this world is not a slave contract, Su Han does not need to worry about being forcibly enslaved or completely losing all his freedom. But the beast-taming contract is a covenant of life and death. If one dies, both die. Just as Su Han was trying to figure out the origin and meaning of this contract. Mutation, rebirth. Without any warning, a gentle yet irresistible pure white spatial beam suddenly pierced through the endless darkness of the North Sea, enveloping this tiny, little fish within it. The next second, as the white beam of light contracted and disappeared, Su Han also vanished from the spot. Holy crap! Another time travel. The Great Xia Kingdom. Donghai City's #1 high school. Today is the annual Beast Awakening ceremony for senior high school students. Therefore, the playground was bustling with noise. Countless senior high school students lined up according to their classes, looking at the Beast Awakening array in the center of the playground, which was constructed of special crystals, with their eyes full of tension and anticipation. God help me. Let me awaken a divine beast, a ferocious beast, one of those legendary beings. Divine beasts, ferocious beasts. Even among the lesser-ranked demonic beasts, the number that have awakened in the entire history of our East Sea City is no more than 5. With your paltry 15 points of spiritual power, you think you can awaken a divine beast or ferocious beast powerful enough to slaughter an entire nation. You're dreaming. Laugh at me? Fortune changes every 30 years. Don't underestimate a young man's potential. You can fast forward to Respect for the Dead. Just as the two students, overwhelmed with nervousness, were joking and laughing to relieve their stress. At that moment, a voice beside them broke through the noise. What do you think? With the mental strength of the school beauty from Wuhan University, what grade of beast can she awaken? Yixian. Upon hearing this name, almost everyone around them involuntarily turned their gaze to the front of the line of Class 1, Grade 12. There stood a young girl. She was tall and slender, standing out even among men. The simple blue and white school uniform she wore made her skin look as white as snow and her temperament cool and aloof. Her face was absolutely stunning. Her long, flowing silver hair was simply tied into a high ponytail, and her eyes were calm, carrying a serenity beyond her years, as if all the noise around her had nothing to do with her. In the last citywide mental strength simulation test, it is said that Wu Yixian's mental strength has broken through the 100 mark. The best historical record since the founding of Donghai City has been reorganized. According to the book, if one's mental strength exceeds 80 points, the chance of awakening a magical beast-level beast tamer is already extremely high. And the martial arts school beauty's 100+ points of mental strength, barring any unforeseen circumstances. A demonic beast? She must be at least a beast tamer at the awakened demonic beast level, right? Hiss! A demonic beast? That's a guaranteed king-level beast, and there's even a chance to reach a higher realm. Is our East Sea City about to produce a true prodigy this year? I'm so envious. She looks like a fairy, and her talent is so incredible. It's like God is feeding her every meal. Exclamations of surprise, envy, and whispers rippled through the crowd as people discussed Wu Yixian, but Wu Yixian herself showed no pride whatsoever, her expression as calm as ice. Until the teacher in charge of the awakening ceremony on the awakening platform called out her name. Next up, Class 1, Grade 12, Wu Yixian. It's here. Instantly, the entire playground of Donghai No. 1 Middle School fell silent. You could hear a pin drop. Whether it was students, teachers, or the solemn-looking principal of Donghai No. 1 Middle School sitting on the dais, or all the high-ranking officials of Donghai City who had come specifically to observe the ceremony, all eyes were fixed on that graceful figure slowly stepping out. After all, Donghai City was just a small, third-tier coastal city in the Great Xia Kingdom. The emergence of a prodigy like Wu Yixian was the glory and hope of the entire city. Like and subscribe for more updates.